My name's Ian, I'm 64, retired, and I'm a carer for my 92-year-old mum. I live in a flat in a former sheltered housing scheme in Bo'ness on the Forth Estuary. I like walking and photography, and I'm 5 minutes walk from the historic Kinneil estate. We have a family history of heart disease, and recently I called NHS 24 with what I felt were severe chest pains and frankly in a bit of a panic. This led to an emergency admission to Forth Valley Royal Hospital. The admission was scary, but it did give me a close-up experience of how good healthcare can be. I phoned NHS 24 and the staff member who took my call asked a few preliminary questions before then transferring my call to a nurse. The nurse asked a few more questions and then said she was calling an ambulance for me and asked me to take an aspirin in the meantime. The ambulance arrived really quickly and two paramedic ambulance guys checked me over in my flat and did some tests. Not long after that I was on my way to hospital, really worried now, but the ambulance guys had a confident, down-to-earth humour that made it a lot easier. In the hospital I was taken to a bay in a clinical assessment unit. I don't recall the detail of the tests other than an X-ray, but I do recall that all the nursing and other staff were unfailingly kind and considerate. Everyone I saw introduced themselves by their name and explained their role and what they were going to do, and they made sure I understood what was happening and that I was okay with that. Later a nurse explained the results of the test to me and what would happen in the following morning. In the event it wasn't a heart problem at all, and I was relieved to be discharged later that day. My mum was kept informed throughout, and when my brother phoned from Ayrshire to ask how I was, the nurse brought the phone to me in my bed to talk to him. Little details stand out, like the catering staff explaining to me that they'd checked with the nurses that it was okay for me to have breakfast. I was treated throughout as someone with dignity. The bay gave me privacy without feeling I'd been forgotten about, and I had a comforting sense that I was being taken seriously and well looked after. It may seem an odd thing to notice, but the bay was fully cleaned, top to bottom, several times in the 30 or so hours I was there. The domestic staff chatting to me about everyday things gave me a calming sense of normality. The whole experience reflected that staff did their jobs with compassion as well as skill, and that I was treated with respect and dignity. I'm sure no one was mechanically following any set of standards, but their approach reflected the highest standards all the same,